About 1 in 5 people in the United States die from heart disease in 2022. The term heart disease refers to several types of heart conditions. The most common type here in the U.S. is coronary artery disease, or CAD.
And CAD affects the blood flow to the heart, and decreased blood flow can then cause a heart attack. Often it may be silent and not diagnosed until a person experiences signs or symptoms of a heart attack, heart failure, or an arrhythmia. There's an innovative tool to fight it, though, and to tell us all about it, we've invited Dr. Tabak. He's the cardiologist at Cedars-Sinai Smidt Heart Institute, and we really appreciate you being here.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, let's talk about it. First, heart disease, leading cause of death in the United States. What can we do to prevent it? I know that's a big question.
Well, it's a big question, but let me break it down a little bit.
Okay.
First of all, heart disease is very common because when you think about it, the risk factors are very common. You know, the major risk factors for heart disease are high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, family history of heart disease, and smoking. Those are the big 5 risk factors. Then you add to that obesity and sedentary lifestyle, things that are unfortunately all too common in the United States as well. So all of these things unfortunately conspire to make this a common clinical problem. And what can we do about it? It's really addressing all of those risk factors. It's a matter of trying to make sure that your cholesterol is well controlled, that your blood pressure is well controlled, diabetes, if present, is controlled. It's a matter of really aggressively controlling the risk factors.
Okay. So you say a lot of times it's a silent disease. A lot of people don't even know they even have it. So, what are the factors and the symptoms people need to look for physically? Well,
the symptoms, we're trying to catch this even before the symptoms occur, but the symptoms you would watch for would be things such as chest discomfort, shortness of breath, especially those symptoms that would occur with exertion. If you notice that you're exercising, climbing stairs, any of those things really should raise a red flag about heart problems.
CT calcium scan. Some people have heard about it, others not. What is it and how can it save lives?
Well, the key to treating heart disease is really knowing that you have it and trying to detect it early. And this is where the beauty of the CT scan comes in. The CT scan allows us to really detect the very early microscopic changes that occur in the coronary arteries. So even though the initial problem is the development of migration of cholesterol and fat into the walls of the arteries, that's very difficult to measure. The calcium is initially brought in because of the inflammation that's caused, and that gives us something very easy to measure.
There are some people that have cholesterol that's kind of elevated, but they don't do this calcium test, and then they just sort of go for years letting it be elevated but not too high. That can be ultimately dangerous, right?
That's correct. That's correct. Because again, if you realize most people who have heart disease, most people who have heart attacks actually have a normal cholesterol. So yes, if you have a high cholesterol, that is a risk factor and needs to be addressed. But that alone is not going to be adequate because most people with heart disease have a normal cholesterol.
Okay, I want you to comment on some video. First, we're going to show a normal CT calcium scan. Let's take a look at that.
There, what you see here is a CT scan, and this is a normal one. What I would show you is that in the middle of that scan, you see there's the round structure. That's the aorta, and that's the major artery that leaves the heart. And what I'd point out is down at about 4 or 5 o'clock there, you see a small kind of artery arising from the aorta. That's the left main coronary artery. So that's where, for example, if someone had calcifications in that left main coronary artery, that's where you would see it, and it would show up as a bright white spot in that area.
Okay, let's now look at one that's abnormal.
And here, I think you can see a clearly abnormal study. Because as opposed to the previous study that you saw, you see these bright white plaques, and those plaques are really tracing in the LAD, the left anterior descending artery. That's the major artery that runs down the front of the heart. And everybody comes in and asks, well, is that the widowmaker? And the answer is it's a terrible term, but yes, that's the artery that people refer to as the widowmaker. And the plaque that's there doesn't tell you how severe a blockage is, but it tells you that there's clearly a problem with coronary artery disease affecting that artery.
Okay, so who should be getting this test, doctor, and is it covered by insurance?
Well, as far as who should be getting it, anybody who's at least at a moderate risk should get it. And I think you could even make an argument that people who are at low risk should get it, because when you look at the risk factors, they're truly just that. They increase your risk if you have it, but no one in a sense is free of risk. So I've seen, unfortunately, too many times that someone has no risk factors at all and has a positive scan. So for that reason, I would encourage people to get it typically for men when they're around 40 to 45, women perhaps a decade later, to make sure that they don't have early coronary disease. And that really is the best test, the CT calcium scan, the best test for early detection of coronary disease. Does insurance pay for it, you ask? Well, typically the insurances don't pay for it since it's a screening test, but the cost is modest as a screening test.
Okay.
Thank you for all the information. We appreciate you being here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, for the latest on heart health research, you can always log on to Cedars-Sinai.org.